Eric Cantona. All right, this one's a classic. If you know football, you've definitely seen that clip where Eric Cantona straight up drop-kicked a fan in the stands mid-game. Like, not metaphorically, the man literally went full kung fu mode. It was January 1995, and United was playing Crystal Palace, and Cantona had just been sent off for a foul. And as he was walking off, some Palace fans started yelling at him from the front row. And the next thing we know, he hops the barrier and launches both feet into the guy's chest like it's a Bruce Lee movie. United banned him for the rest of the season, but the FA was like, nah, that's not enough. They hit him with a 9-month ban, fined him, and made him do community service. Luis Suarez. You know a guy's wild when biting people is part of his highlight reel. Luis Suarez got banned because he bit 3 different players in his career. The worst one was during the 2014 World Cup, Uruguay versus Italy. Suarez and Chiellini were battling in the box, and suddenly, Luis just took a grip on Chiellini's shoulder like he was trying to take a chunk out. They slapped Suarez with a 4-month ban from all football, plus 9 international games. The man couldn't even step into the stadium. He was physically banned from football buildings, and this was after he'd already bitten Ivanovic in the Prem and Bakal in the Eredivisie. Diego Costa. Diego Costa never really needed an excuse to lose it. He was born to be a villain, and had that chaos energy. But in 2019, he finally crossed a line even La Liga couldn't ignore. While playing for Atletico against Barcelona, Costa got in the ref's face after a foul. And I mean in his face. He started screaming and allegedly said something about the ref's mother. Woo! Bad move! The ref wrote it all down in the match report, and the Spanish FA reviewed it and hit Costa with an 8-game ban. Rene Higuita. Rene Higuita was already a madman. The guy invented the scorpion kick, used to dribble past strikers as a goalkeeper, and had hair like a 90s rock star. But in 1993, he made headlines for something that had nothing to do with football. He got caught up in a kidnapping situation back in Colombia, not as the victim, but as the middleman. Yep, he was trying to help negotiate a kid's release between 2 drug cartels. He allegedly got paid for it, and that's where he messed up. Colombian law doesn't allow people to profit from kidnapping cases, even if they're just the negotiator. So he got arrested, missed 7 months of football, and by the time he came back, he was never quite the same. Eden Hazard. This one's so stupid, it's actually kind of funny. Eden Hazard, back in his Chelsea days, got sent off for kicking a ball boy. But the story isn't as simple as it sounds. It was the League Cup semi-final against Swansea. Chelsea was losing, Hazard was getting frustrated, and this ball boy who was clearly trying to waste time, just straight up lies down on the ball to stop Hazard from picking it up for a throw. Hazard tries to nudge the ball out, but instead of using his hands, he tries kicking it out from under the kid and ends up kinda kicking the ball and the boy. The kid rolled around like he got hit by a truck, cameras caught it, Twitter exploded, and within hours, it was headline news. The FA stepped in and banned Hazard for 3 games. To be fair, Hazard did apologize, even met with the kid afterward. But the internet never forgets. Joey Barton. Joey Barton was never exactly chill. This guy was built to cause chaos, on and off the pitch. But his biggest drama came in 2017 when the FA found out he'd placed 1,260 bets on football matches over a 10-year span. And yeah, some of them were on games he was actually involved in. That's like walking into a casino wearing your team jersey and asking the dealer to keep it quiet. He didn't deny it either. Barton basically said betting was a coping mechanism and blamed a gambling addiction, but the FA wasn't having it. He got slapped with an 18-month ban, which pretty much ended his career then and there. Patrice Evra. You ever seen a player kick his own club's fan before the game even starts? Yeah, that actually happened. Patrice Evra, late in his career at Marseille, was warming up for a Europa League match when some fans started talking crazy from the sideline. They weren't just heckling either. Apparently, it got real personal. Evra walked over like he was going to talk, then bam, full karate kick to the guy's head. It was like it was straight out of the UFC. The match hadn't even started yet, and he was already sent off. UEFA saw the footage and hit him with a 7-month ban from all UEFA competitions. Andre Onana. This one's rough. Andre Onana got banned for a full year in 2021 because of a failed drug test. Sounds bad, right? Except the guy says it was all a mistake. He claimed he accidentally took his wife's medication, thinking it was aspirin. Turns out it had a banned substance called furosemide in it. To be fair, the story actually checked out. Ajax backed him, no shady behavior was found, and the Court of Arbitration ended up reducing the ban to 9 months. But by then, the damage was done. He missed almost an entire season, lost his rhythm, and eventually left Ajax. Diego Maradona. When you talk about Maradona, you think genius. But you also think trouble. Man lived like there were no rules. In 1991, while playing for Napoli, he tested positive for cocaine and got hit with a 15-month ban. That was already big. But then he topped it 3 years later at the World Cup in '94. He started the tournament like a beast, then celebrated right into the camera looking like he was on another planet. Turns out, he kinda was. After the game versus Nigeria, he got randomly drug tested and tested positive for ephedrine, a banned stimulant. David Navarro. Remember Valencia versus Inter Milan in 2007? It was a tight Champions League knockout game, and emotions were high. And then, out of nowhere, a full-on brawl breaks out. Players were swinging fists like it's a boxing match, and in the middle of the chaos, here comes David Navarro, who wasn't even on the pitch. He runs in from the bench, sucker punches Nicolas Burdisso in the face, and breaks his nose. UEFA looked at the footage and gave Navarro a 7-month ban from all European competition. Duncan Ferguson. Duncan Ferguson wasn't just physical, he was dangerous. This dude was a walking red card. But there's one incident that made him the first and only Premier League player to serve real jail time for something that happened on the pitch. Back in 1994, while playing for Rangers, he headbutted John McStay of Wraith Rovers. The ref somehow didn't even send him off. But Scottish police were watching, and he got charged with assault. And by 1995, he was sentenced to 3 months in prison. He served about 44 days behind bars and got hit with a 12-match ban on top. Rio Ferdinand. Ferdinand didn't fail a drug test. He just missed one. And the FA came down on him like he was a criminal. It was 2003, and Rio was at the peak of his powers at United. He was called up for a random drug test after training. But apparently he said he forgot and left the facility before giving a sample. But the FA were not messing around. They hit him with an 8-month ban, plus a fine and a full-on suspension from the national team. He even missed Euro 2004 because of it. And yeah, he was drug tested the next day and passed. But it still didn't matter. The rule is the rule. Adrian Mutu. Adrian Mutu had all the talent in the world. Chelsea signed him in 2003 thinking he'd be their next big thing. But by 2004, he was banned, dumped, and dragged into one of the most expensive player lawsuits ever. What happened? Cocaine. He failed a drug test during a random screening and got slapped with a 7-month ban by the FA. Chelsea immediately terminated his contract and sued him for breach, and won. He ended up being ordered to pay the club over £15 million, which became one of the most expensive fines in football history. Kolo Touré. This one's weird, because this guy wasn't even doing shady stuff. He wasn't violent or cheating or causing chaos. He just took his wife's weight loss pills, and that one innocent mistake got him banned for 6 months in 2011 while he was at Manchester City. Apparently, the pills had a banned diuretic in the kind that helps flush stuff out of your system, which is why it's often used to hide other substances. Kolo wasn't hiding anything, though. He was just trying to keep his fitness up and didn't check the label. City and Arsene Wenger both backed him, saying it was a mistake. Even the FA said it wasn't doping on purpose. But still, rules are rules. It was one of those moments where the punishment felt a little too harsh. Dude lost half a year over something from his kitchen cabinet. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Zlatan's been suspended for a lot of stuff, but in 2021 he finally got hit with one that had nothing to do with flying kicks or hard tackles. This time, it was all mouth. He was playing for Milan in Serie A and got into it with a ref and just wouldn't shut up. He was already walking the line, but then apparently said something way out of pocket. The ref didn't hesitate with the red card at all. A couple days later, the league reviewed it and handed Zlatan a 3-match ban for threatening language toward an official. They didn't release the exact quote, but reports said it was wild enough that they wanted to make an example out of him. And there it is, some of the football players who have been banned. If you enjoyed this, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments if you think there's a player I forgot to add.